So for the respiratory system, just make sure as you're going through, you're reviewing the upper airway, the lower airway, where that delineates in the larynx. Making sure we look at the diaphragm being that muscle of respiration. Then ventilation and respiration, these are huge for us. Respiratory is probably the biggest thing we do, because when somebody has that shortness of breath, they can't breathe or feel like they can't breathe, these are things we can fix, and usually pretty easily. Even if they're not breathing at all, these are pretty easy things that we can fix. The hypoxic drive, so reviewing that piece of it to understand that it is the backup system to control the respiration. And when the oxygen level falls, this system will also stimulate breathing. So review that piece, making sure you look at your different formulas. So that minute volume being the respiratory rate times the tidal volume. And then also the cardiac output equals the heart rate times the stroke volume. That's another big one to make sure you're reviewing. The normal things of breathing, things you're always looking for, is it a normal rate? So how fast are they breathing? Is it a normal depth? So are they breathing way too deep, or it barely moves their chest? They're way too shallow. We see those in our overdoses when they're way too shallow. What are their lung sounds? And we'll talk about where to listen to lung sounds, front, back, upper, lower. And what's normal, what's abnormal, and how we fix each one. That regular rise and fall movement on both sides of the chest. So when we have trauma, we can actually watch the chest move opposite one another. So that's never good. So we got to understand what normal is. So when we see abnormal, we know what we're doing. And then the movement of the abdomen. How much does the abdomen move? And then it changes versus our infant, child, and adult. So just make sure we're looking at all the different things this talks about. Our normal respirations, respiratory rates, 12 to 20. Children 12 to 40, and then infants 30 to 60. And then what is that labored breathing? So those accessory muscles of the chest, the neck, and the abdomen. Those respiratory rates that are faster than 20 or slower than 12. And then if it's agonal, that means it's gone, or they're not breathing at all, or it's just kind of a guppy breathing. It's so shallow that they're not moving any air. And those respirations are indicative of a respiratory arrest that subsequently goes into a cardiac arrest. So definitely review the airway piece. If you have questions, just let me know.